One mic.
All I need is one mic. It's just different.
One mic with Big Mike.
The overall tenor of what he's saying is very stupid.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
Maybe it's not racism. Maybe it's placism.
Brother has to know his place, right, Bob?
One mic with Big Mike.
Things aren't always what they seem.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limit.
Don't just tell me that the reason something's being done is because that's the way it's always been done. Because the first thing I'm going to say to you is slavery.
And now, your host.
I got the big homie here who needs no introduction.
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
Sorry about that. Had to turn the microphone on. What up? It is the One Mic with Big Mike show here, live and direct on a Monday. Whoops, excuse me. It's not a Monday.
Hump Day.
It's Hump Day here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Also a Woman Crush Wednesday. We'll get to that here in just a second. Don't forget the show is live right now on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. Tune in, and of course, OneMicWithBigMike.com. Make sure you spread the word. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a damn friend, man. If you want to get in contact with me during the show, you can text me at 404-902-8104. That's 404-902-8104. You can also leave comments below my live streaming video here on Facebook. I'm Facebook living it right now. I do it every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Just leave your comments below the stream here, and I'll get to them in order. It's at One Mic with Big Mike, at the number one, MICWITHBIGMIKE. Use that same handle to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. All right, you can also, by the way, jump inside my live interactive chat room if you're listening via Spreaker, and I hope you are. Just click on that little thought bubble icon you see there on the streaming player to get you inside the live interactive chat room where you can talk to me, talk about what I'm talking about. You can ask me questions, you can make comments and criticisms, and you can talk amongst each other as well. It's all legal here. So tonight's show, by the way, no guest tonight. So at the bottom of the hour, we'll get into some way back moments, something I call On This Day, where I take a look back into the annals of sports and give you guys some historical tidbits that have happened on this particular day in history. As far as content goes, I want to talk about what everybody's talking about today. Kevin Durant, I'm looking at the TV right now. Kevin Durant out indefinitely, will be reevaluated in 4 weeks per ESPN, and everyone's losing their damn mind. Oh my God, what does this mean for the Warriors? I'll tell you, a lot of transactions going on in the world of the National Football League where there is really no offseason. Getting ready, the NFL Combine started today. A lot of people getting in there today, getting weighed and getting stretched and poked and prodded and all those things. Friday will be the first of the on-field situation, and then throughout the weekend, you get to see people real big, run fast, and lift a lot of weights and jump real high. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of a geek for it. You know what I mean? That's kind of right there in my wheelhouse. We'll also talk about Amari Stoudemire. You say, why are you talking about Amari Stoudemire? No one cares about Amari Stoudemire. Well, all that is true, but Amari Stoudemire had some comments today that I thought he got in his DeLorean, went back to 2015, 14, 13, and grabbed him and brought him back to the present. I don't know. People are weird. Got a bunch of NBA stuff I want to get into as well. Of course, I already mentioned the NFL stuff, and then some weird. We gotta catch up everything now. This Nicki Minaj, I still want to call her Rod Digger, Remy Ma situation is still going. Some pictures of Nicki Minaj are on some not so flattering ones have made their way to the internet, and as you guys probably know, internet has no heart. There's no chill. Chill left a long time ago, man, and Nicki's catching all of it. So I'll have some fun with that, as well as my man, your guy, everyone's favorite stand-up comedian who just happens to be the president of a major country, Agent Orange, did his first, was it like a State of the Union address? What is it called? He spoke in front of Congress yesterday. I ain't look at a damn bit of it, but I'll turn on MSNBC or CNN and get the wrap up and get the high points and the low points of it all. So we'll mess around with that as well. And then Major League Baseball, man, in desperation mode. A lot of people who love baseball don't feel like the sport is desperate, but they are, and they're doing some more desperate stuff to try to get younger fans engaged. And wait till you guys hear what it is. But first, like I said, let's start off with what's going on in Oklahoma City. While a lot of you drones were locked to your television watching Agent Orange lie and be a liar and try his best to be quote unquote presidential. Yeah, I was watching John Wall and the boys and Bradley Beal and them and Martin Gortat take care of the Golden State Warriors at home last night. Nice win. Big loss potentially for the Golden State Warriors. Kevin Durant's out for, like I mentioned earlier, a potential minimum of 4 weeks. They're going to reevaluate them. Playoffs start in 6 weeks for those of you who are keeping count out there. So it is, it's a bit of a thing that's going on. And of course, like the NBA does a very good job. I mean, not that this happened on purpose, but when football season is over with, there's always something to talk about, whether it's worth its salt or not. It's there to be spoken about. And just so happened yesterday, big freaking goonish Zaza Pachulia fell on Kevin Durant's leg. They thought he had broke his fibia at first, but apparently it's just a fibia. Not just. It's a fibia bruise and a grade 2 MCL strain, I guess is what it is. And people want to lose their mind over this because it makes for good, sports radio fodder. What are they going to do? What are the Warriors going to do? I'll tell you this. This is the difference between a situation where your personnel dictates your system versus your system dictating your personnel. To give you guys a better or a more clarified comparison of what I mean, look at Kevin Durant. Look at Oklahoma City without Kevin Durant. He missed a bunch of time with Oklahoma City, and they didn't make the playoffs. Russ was still doing Russ-type stuff, but they didn't make the playoffs because that was no system. It was Russ, dribble the ball for as long as you possibly can. If there's a shot, you take it. If not, pass it to Kevin. And then, Kevin, you do the same with whatever time's remaining on the shot clock, and then you get your buckets. That was pretty much the system with Scotty Brooks and with now my man from Florida. I can't think of his name right now. Billy Donovan. The same system applies. But with Oklahoma City, this is why when this summer, when everybody was losing their mind, it's going to take a minute to acclimate for the team to gel. Not really. You know what I mean? Because what it is systematic. It's perpetual movement. It's getting your shot when you can. Now, the only difference being now with Kevin Durant being there, and I think this is the element that he adds to the team more than what they add to him, if that makes sense. A couple of things. The one thing that he brings to the team that they didn't have is a guy who can always get his own shot. When the playoffs, you saw when Steph was kind of laboring with a couple of those injuries, it was a little bit harder for him to get space and hit those threes, those dramatic threes we saw all through that 73-win season. Now, Kevin Durant, 7 foot with a handle and a shot. He gets wherever he wants to on the basketball court. The second thing, well, not the second thing, but the thing in reverse that they've done to him, they've allowed him to now conserve offensive energy. And what I mean by that is that he doesn't have to be James Harden. He don't have to be Carmelo. He don't have to be Russ Westbrook on the offensive end, which allows him to be able to contribute even more defensively. Like, that dude might end up being an all-NBA defensive player this year. Or one of the 3 teams. He might make one of those teams. He leads the team in blocks and is it rebounds? He definitely leads them in blocks. I'm not sure about rebounds, but he leads the team in blocks. And that's what is he? Your small forward or is he a power forward? It's positionless basketball, but you get what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So the relationship has been one that's benefited both sides mutually. So the people who feel like, oh, Kevin Durant is going to get get a championship easier. Well, that may in fact have some truth to it. But the other part of that people are failing to recognize, people like Charles Barkley and these people who want to say the soft and all that, he's allowed to expand his game now. And you starting to see all these people who complain about James Harden don't play no defense. Carmelo don't play no defense. Well, you understand how much effort has to be, they have to spend carrying a team offensively? Like, something is going to give. Everybody's not Michael Jordan. Even with Michael Jordan, there were guys there. Scottie Pippen was there, man. Like, let's not act like Scottie Pippen wasn't one of the top 50 players of the last century. Let's not do that. So we all, and then also people got to stop comparing everybody to the top tier, the top of the ladder. You know what I'm saying? There's only a few people that's going to ever touch that stratosphere that Michael Jordan resided in. Not even live there, just touch it. So they'll be like, well, MJ did it. Well, I think we can all agree that, James Harden ain't Michael Jordan. Neither is Carmelo. They're not Michael Jordan. In the case of Kevin Durant, though, and I'll get to, what this Golden State Warriors team, like for the people who like numbers and all that kind of stuff, I'll give you a couple numbers as to what they'll actually be missing with Kevin Durant out. It is the One Mic with Big Mike show. I'm here live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app as well. And, of course, tune in and One Mic with Big Mike.com, the website. Make sure you check it out. Before I get into that, let me make sure I give you guys the hashtag, put it on the poll questions brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com, the homie Rob Calloway's website. Hashtag, put it on the poll. Adidas is giving an island, like a body of land, or $1 million to the NFL Combine attendee that breaks Chris Johnson's 40-yard dash record. I think it's 4.24 is what Chris Johnson, CJ2K, ran it in. And I asked, which one would you want? I just put this up before the show started, but which one would you want? The $1 million, the $1 million or the island? The next question, I think I put a couple of these up today as well. Before this year, who did you think had the best chance of averaging a triple-double for a season? Russ had another triple-double, 40 points yesterday. They couldn't miss a damn shot. The worst three-point shooting team in the league couldn't miss a damn shot yesterday against the best defensive team in the league. Go figure, right? The options I gave were LeBron, Anthony Davis, the Greek Freak, and nobody. I really couldn't think of a lot of people who I think would have that type of opportunity. So I just took very versatile players. 100% of the people so far are saying LeBron James had the best chance before this year, and watching Russell Westbrook and getting a triple-double or averaging a triple-double for the entire season. And I agree, by the way. I was waiting a long time to see LeBron do that. Just like, say, F it, now I got my rings. Let's assault these record books and do what great players do. And he still plays the same game, but not in the same. He didn't play it with the same energy, I guess, or the same ferocity as a guy like Russ Westbrook. In what round of the NFL draft, with the Combine being this weekend, in what round of the NFL draft do you think teams should start drafting running backs? I'm a very staunch believer that you can keep your first round running back. And I bring this up for this year because, Christian McCaffrey and Delvin, what is his name? The Cook boy from Florida. Is it Dalvin Cook? Dalvin Cook? Sounds right. From Florida State. Leonard Fournette, of course, everybody loves Leonard Fournette. And they talking about all these dudes going in the first round. Look at the Super Bowl teams this year. Look at them. You know what I mean? Just take a good look at them. Look at the ones from last year, the two from last year, too. Yeah, you can keep your first. I know Ezekiel Elliott, but for your Ezekiel Elliott, I'll raise you a Todd Gurley. All right. So 100% of the people so far are saying, yeah, they can settle for third and fourth round running back. The options are first round, second round, third through fourth round, and fifth through seventh round for that one. And you guys head over to One Mic with Big Mike on Twitter to answer those questions. Also, could you have envisioned Darrelle Revis's career ending this way? 100% of people so far are saying no, and I couldn't either. We'll talk about that here in just a second. And the last one, did you watch Agent Orange's speech? 100% of the people so far are saying hell no, they didn't watch that bull. Of course, the Warriors, John Wall and Steph Curry were playing basketball last night. What I look like watching the dude on TV lie more to people. I'm good. I'm all good. All right, so anyway, getting back to this Kevin Durant situation, let me give you guys, you numbers people, some concrete evidence of what Kevin Durant does or doesn't bring to this team. I already mentioned the interview. And by the way, side note for this team may not have gotten better with the injury to Kevin Durant, but they got a lot Bajer. Is it Beige? It's Bajer, right? A lot more beige. They signed Matt Barnes. So between him and Sean Livingston and Steph and Clay, Yeah, they need Draymond. They need Draymond for more than just emotional leadership. They just add like that extra melanin to the team to like to balance it out. Oh, man. So yeah, they got another beige, light skin toughness. My man Matt Barnes is now again, I should say, is a Golden State Warrior again. Okay, so as far as the team goes, of course, they have the best record, the best offensive rating, the second best defensive rating, which a lot of people might be surprised in hearing that, but they were like number one last year in defense. Like it ain't just about like putting up the Jays, man, and Splash Brothers this and all that kind of stuff. These cats are serious about what they do on the other side, on the opposite side of the court as well. The Warriors, they outscored teams by 22.6 points per 100 possessions when their big four, meaning Clay and Steph and Draymond and KD are on the floor. When Durant was not on the floor, it's only 12.5. Like I say, only 12.5 points per 100 possessions, which means basically they go from being hella good to just good and very good. You know what I mean? There is, of course, a decline in the defensive rating because, like I mentioned earlier, Kevin Durant is now able to not just look to get his shot all the time and spend so much energy running off of screens and beating people off the dribble and that kind of stuff. He can get some rest on offense, man. And people, that's a very, very underrated aspect of a lot of superstars' games. The points and times in the game where they choose to obtain rest when they're not, so they don't have to go out of the game. The reason LeBron James can play as many minutes as he plays every game is because he understands, he understands the flow of an NBA game. He understands where he can pick his spots to do, certain things and to go extra hard. Like Russ don't know that because, like, how people talk about those people who can't feel pain. They're missing like a part of their brain that won't allow them to feel pain. You can like bash them in the stomach with a hammer and it's like, what happened? You know what I mean? Like Russ is like that dude, but he don't have that part in his brain that allows him to get tired. He just run and keep running and running and running and running and running. And here we are, man, like 2/3 of the way through the season, 6 more weeks left or whatever. And that dude ain't slowed up yet. I got to say it again, 40-point triple-double again last night. So anyway, as far as the defense goes, they go from 98.2 to 109.4 when Kevin Durant is not on the floor. And I mentioned already, it is rebounds and blocks. Kevin Durant is leading this basketball team, man. Like he's playing the role of a true 7-footer on the defensive side of the defensive side of the court, but still being, KD, lanky, the Durantula on the offensive side of the court where he can get his shot anytime he wants to. And like I mentioned before, that's not a thing that the Warriors necessarily had. The system dictated who got shots, and a lot of times Steph and his tricky dribbling and his quick release would also contribute to that. But now you got a dude that gets to that like free throw line extended area at will, and it just becomes a matter of him missing it or making it at that point. And so they'll be without that for a couple of weeks, and we'll get to see them go back to playing the basketball they played last year. Steph, if he's had a couple of nights. He had like 2 threes yesterday. He was 0 for 11 the game before that. So he's been in a little bit of a shooting slump. So let's see if whoever they play next, I don't know what their schedule is necessarily, but whoever they play next, we'll see what their schedule is, and then we'll see what this team is without Kevin Durant. The whole notion though that this is a thing, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, now are the Cavs the favorite now? They've got Andrew Bogut and Darren Williams. All right. My man, look, and the dude that I trust, you heard it right here on this show. My man, Jovan Buha from ESPN said that he believes that these two additions put the Cavs, over the top. Yet to be seen. We'll see Darren Williams get his first run tonight with the Cavs, and we'll see how that situation goes. But keep in mind, there was an adaptation period when Kyle Korver got there as well. LeBron talked about them not having an opportunity to practice with him, and him knowing, where to be on the court, them knowing where to get him the ball on the court, that sort of situation coming from a different system here in Atlanta. So if Darren Williams doesn't, impress like majorly tonight, just understand that, it's going to take a minute. But the thing that they do have in Cleveland that they don't necessarily have in in Golden State is a minute because they got to get ready for the playoffs. Like all this stuff about seedings and all this stuff in the Western Conference, who cares? The teams that you're going to see are going to be probably, I don't know, Utah, Houston. People going to want to say Clippers, but I won't. Of course, San Antonio and then the Warriors. So whatever the seeding is, figure it out and then ball. You know what I mean? Who cares after that? Just ball. There was a couple of other things I wanted to say about this too. Speaking of those Houston Rockets, they feel like them and their GM Daryl Morey, is it Morey? And of course Mike D'Antoni, they feel like they have a little bit of a, I don't know, I want to call it secret weapon, but a strategy. That's a better word to use. A strategy for how to dethrone this Golden State Warriors team. I mean, Western Conference champion dethrone, not, of course, or world champion. He says that they just going to outshoot them. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, the game comes down to getting buckets. I think that strategy in this situation is flawed because the way Golden State starts like killing people, like especially coming out of half in those third quarters where they just like that wave of shot making happens. It happens because of what was going on the defensive side of the football, basketball. Golly, football is just on the brain. On the defensive side of the court, like they're able to get out and transition, and you got to start matching up with cats. Cats start spraying out and running the corners, and you got Draymond who's taking the ball off the rim and then pushing the basketball. It gets real hectic real soon, real quickly. And if they're hitting shots, that's how it goes. I don't think the Houston Rockets are necessarily built that way. Like they need to be hitting shots because I don't think they come in the same volume as the Warriors shots based on the disparity of the other team and them. You know what I mean? Like the other team is missing shots. And then on the other side of the basketball court, next thing you know, they're getting three. So you're trading 0 for 3 or 2 for 3. And then by the end of the third quarter, like what happened against, was that the Clippers that happened against? 50 points after being down 19. They were down 19 again last night too and came back. But ended up losing at the end. Shout out to Brad Beal and of course John Wall. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, next thing you know, it's 50 points put up on the court, on the scoreboard in one quarter. And then they start asking the players, like, and they say, and I believe them when they say, I didn't even realize it was that many points because it's happening, like, so quickly. As you watching it, it's happening quickly. I can only imagine being in the situation and seeing this happen, or being in that situation while it's happening. It's a weird situation. So, you know, I guess it's like what we say about like boxers, you know, you have a puncher's chance. That's what Houston has. Houston definitely has a puncher's chance. They got one of the best, if not the best player in the league this year, and James Harden, leading the league in assists, one of the top scorers in the league, really coming into his own this year. They got plenty of damn shooters around him. And, you know, and I thought about that, thinking about him and thinking about Russ, the two guys who a lot of people are putting at the forefront of this MVP race. You look at last night, you look at Russ with his 40-point triple-double. I don't even know the whole stat line. I forgot to even look at the whole stat line. But I do know that at one point in that game, they were like, this bad three-point shooting team was 12 for 13 shooting the ball. Of course, now they got Dougie McBuckets from Chicago. He's in the building now. What's my man? Like Taj Gibson's there now. He's not really a three-point shooter, but you get my point. They got some new players. But I don't think that's what it is. It's one of those things where sometimes, you know, you're on the playground and some dude just catch the flu, man. It's just like he's hitting everything. Everything's going in. They were 12 for 13 at one point, and it got me to thinking, man, with this dude, Russ got like what? He's got like what, 30 triple-doubles? What if he had shooters? Like, what if he had dudes like LeBron got? Like, LeBron got Kevin Love. He got freaking J.R. Smith when he's healthy. They got Kyle Korver now. Of course, they got Kyrie Irving. What's the dude Channing Frye's there? They got plenty of dudes that can just spread the floor and get crazy buckets. Russ don't got that. He got Enes Kanter and Steven Adams and Victor Oladipo. You know what I mean? Like, that's not there. And this dude is still finding ways to distribute the basketball. I'm not a fan of the assists, by the way. I look at it the same way like baseball people look at like RBIs. Like other things have to come into play for you to get that assist. Like you can pass the ball, like you can outlet the ball to somebody and they just pull up right there for three, you get an assist. Like at the end of the quarter or something, that's an assist. The same, but in the same context, if you pass the ball to somebody and they get fouled going to the rack and they don't hit the shot, but they hit the 2 free throws, or even 1 free throw, you don't get an assist for that. So it's kind of one of those stats that's kind of like arbitrary, and it's dependent on another thing happening first. You know, again, like an RBI, some guy has to be on base. You hit a double is a double. But if a guy happens to be on first and he finds a way to come all the way around from first to score, then you get an extra statistic for that based on what the other guy did. He took a walk, or he got a base hit, or there was an error, or something to get him on base that you had no control over. And it's the same thing with, to me, the assist in basketball. And the last thing before I go to break here, you know, this whole notion that all of a sudden this team that won 73 games last year that came back from down 3-1 in their own right in the Western Conference Final, that kind of gets like washed away, right? We won't even talk about that anymore. And then, of course, they gave up a 3-1. They were up 3-1 in the NBA Finals as well. All of a sudden, it's time for despair. Like, is this still not what you would consider a super team? That's weird to me that's not really a thing. Like I think Draymond Green might be the one of the most. I hate doing these comparison type making these statements like this. I hear it coming out of my mouth and I hate it. But he may be one of the most underrated players in the NBA. Like people look at Draymond and say, well, he's not Flash, he's not a star, he's not Steph, he's not Clay. But Draymond, and I've been saying this for like years now, for a couple of years now, he is the engine that makes that nice fancy car go. You know, like this whole thing with him and Paul Pierce, and everybody was like, Paul Pierce is a Hall of Famer. Draymond Green would be lucky to have the career of Paul Pierce, and blah, 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 as though that's supposed to mean something in 2017. And everything Draymond said was right. Like, Kobe left the game on like 60-something points on a bad team. Like, Paul Pierce is on a decent team, so they're going to probably end up in the playoffs. So he's not going to have that farewell, he's not going to have that drop the mic, Mamba out moment that looks so like cool. I'm sure, like, if you're a dude that played in the league that long, it looks like a cool thing to do, retirement tour. And when Draymond was like, they don't love you like that, you know what I mean? Like, ain't nobody standing up every time you come on the court in other people's arenas. Nah. And it's true. And that don't mean he's any less of a player. I mean, he's less of a player than Kobe, but that doesn't mean he's not a great player, or he wasn't a great player. It just means that, you know, that was a calculated risk you took, dude. Like, you really can't do both. You can't, like, ring chase and do the farewell tour. Like, Kevin Garnett could do it because that team was bad. So everyone knows when it's going to end for Kevin Durant. They know Kevin Garnett, excuse me. It's going to end when the season is over. With Paul Pierce is a crapshoot, and yeah, you're Paul Pierce. You know what I mean? But anyway, last thing before I go to break here, Draymond kind of cleared it up, though. He cleared up why that happened, because people just thought like Draymond was just like came out and out of nowhere had like the 40 cal just busting at Paul Pierce, but it wasn't like that. Draymond says that Pierce called him a bum, said he would be nothing if he weren't on a team full of all-stars. Green has heard constantly through his rise to all-star level that he isn't good enough to carry a team. Okay. You know, who is, to be honest with you? That he is a product of circumstance and not talent. So he fired back. Yeah, he said, it's nothing personal. I don't hate Pierce, but if you're going to talk junk, I don't hold anything back when I'm talking junk. If I'm going to talk junk, I'm going to talk. My man, I say that all the time, dude. Well, baby, I say if we going to talk, I'm going to talk then. And I'm going to take it where it needs to go. Yes. This is why I love this dude, man. This is why, I actually, want to hang out with him. Only for, maybe a couple hours, though. You know what I'm saying? Not, a long, extended, spend the week with Draymond. Nah, I can do, a couple hours and then be out. Because, Draymond, he got drunk and put his hands on that one little boy. And you ain't heard from him since. He slapped that dude straight out of school. He was like, I can't stay here no more. Draymond, the police that was across the parking lot said he just heard a loud pop from across the parking lot. He put his hands on a grown man with an open hand. things that require gunplay afterwards. I'm just saying, like, you gotta punch me, don't slap me, cuz punch me so we can handle this like men. Once you slap me, I'm feeling a different kind of way about you. Anyway, let's take a break. This is the One Mic with Big Mike show. I'm here live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Don't forget you can hear the show on demand on Spreaker, the Spreaker app. Tune in, onemicwithbigmike.com, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and, of course, YouTube. And make sure you guys check out the Facebook live stream that's going on right now on my Facebook page, at One Mic with Big Mike. That's also the same as my Twitter and my Instagram. When I come back, we'll take a look back into the annals of sports. Speaking of the annals of things, I got to talk to you guys about Nicki Minaj too. What's going? Like, I need, if the ladies are listening again tonight, couple ladies were checking the show out on Monday. If they're listening again tonight, I need some help with this one about Nicki Minaj's ass. We'll talk about it next.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms. And your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
So you see, son, good manners are very, very important. Someday, many years from now, when you're a grown-up, you'll be a man. And when you are, you should be a gentleman. Do you want me to go through it one more time?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If a door's shut, then knock first. Don't burp, don't swear, don't speak with your mouth full, don't reach across people's plates, keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
And don't interrupt. While we're at it, don't stare, don't use foul language, don't call people names, but do remember people's names. Always share your toys, play nice, and cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give up your seat to anyone who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
And now, back to One Mic.
What are we waiting for? Let's get to it.
With Big Mike.
Hump Day.
Welcome back to the Hump Day episode of One Mic with Big Mike. I never rain, I never Drake. All out night, nigga, me. Hey. Oh, Nikki. So here's the question I have. So some pictures are circulating around the internet, the old interwebs, and they depict Nicki Minaj's ass apparently deflating. You know, I don't think it's any secret or anything. Like, you know, she's had some work done on the old bod there. You know, she's got some chesticle implants done. She's got the old posterior taken care of and plumped up. But it was a picture of her walking with Future. I don't know if it was like a video shoot or whatever the hell it was, and I wonder, like, is that a thing for like the ladies who have this stuff done? Is that a thing that's going to eventually happen to everyone? Is it repairable? Like, do you have to just pack it into the jeans, or you get it removed? Or, like, I don't know what it is, because so many of these chicks have, like, chicks done died because Cass is putting like Fix-A-Flat and spackle into their ass. You know what I mean? So I don't know, like, what's in there. Is it like a breast implant, like a silicone implant that goes in your ass, or what? And if so, do you like have to go back? Because I used to work with this chick. I used to work with this white lady, long time ago, fresh out of college too, and she told me that, she has plastic surgery on her face or whatever, but you can't it ain't like you just have it and it's done. Like, you have to go back for like maintenance on it. So I'm wondering if that's the same thing where, like, when bras is getting like ass shots and stuff. Like, I'm assuming she probably got hers done professionally because she got loot, but in her case, do you have to like go back and make sure that it's maintained properly and it holds its form? Because like gravity is a mug. You know what I mean? Just like on natural chicks, like when you're not lugging all that around. So it would seem the reason that gravity would still be a situation with you if, you know, you put some extra back there and your body ain't really made to carry it gravity's going to take over, and next thing you know, it's like droopy and lappy and whatever the hell else, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I find that so damn, I was so curious about it. I mean, like, look at her ass, and what the hell is happening to her ass? And will she get that? Why didn't she get it fixed already? And speaking of people with bad plastic surgery, apparently now not Nicki Minaj, Lil' Kim, like her and Rod Digger. God dang it, I keep calling this woman Rod Digger. Remy Ma, like she's considering teaming up with Remy Ma to bash Nicki Minaj. I'm like, look, I just got to tell my old lady, man, that like same thing I said on Monday, y'all bros ain't friends for real. I mean, it ain't happening. It's just like now there's an enemy of my enemy, and now we're friends. Hell out of here. Anyway, it's that time of the show today. No guest today, so it's that time of the show where I take a look back.
Now, let's take a look back. On this day.
Big L, what up, homie? I see you, dog. Big L's in the chat room, by the way. If you guys want to join him in the chat room and holler at your boy, go to Spreaker.com, Spreaker.com, or the Spreaker app. Sign up for your free Spreaker account. Follow One Mic with Big Mike on Spreaker. And then, just hit that little thought bubble icon and you'll be up in the live interactive chat room. Okay. It's time, as you just heard the big voice guy say, it's time to take a look back. If I can find my... All right, on this day in 1941, Elmer Layden becomes the first ever NFL commissioner. I think this guy, from what I saw today, I think he was a part of the old Notre Dame Four Horsemen as well. Somebody can fact check that for me. I don't want to be giving out no damn, alternative facts or whatnot.
Alternative facts.
None of those here. On this day in 1942, Major League Baseball decides that players in the military can't play when on furlough. Like, damn, what was that? World War what? 1942? So dude just go away, kill some Germans, which war? I don't even know if that's the right war. And then we're like, you know what I want to do? Play for the Yankees when I get a break. And of course, I guess because people don't make rules before things happen. Usually, it's usually like after something happens, people say, you know what, we probably need to make a rule about these cats coming back from the war trying to play baseball. On this day in 1949, hashtag Black History. I know it's March. I don't give a damn. Joe Louis retires as heavyweight boxing champion. The great brown bomber, Joe Louis. On this day in 1972, more Black History. Wilt Chamberlain is the first NBA player to score 30,000 points. On this day in 1973, shout out to the ladies. Apparently, it is Women's History Month today. If you've been watching ESPN at all today, you find out that it's Women's History Month. I did not know that such a thing existed. Poor white men. There's no month for you. It's called All of History. Robin Smith becomes the first female jockey to win a major race. Whenever you get time, if you don't know what this is, look up the term jockey syndrome. Just look up the term jockey syndrome and thank me later. It'll give you a lot of understanding about a lot of the attitudes that you see portrayed in sports today. On this day in 1988, Wayne Gretzky, the great one, passes Gordie Howe, Mr. Hockey, with his record 10,050th NHL assist. On this day in 1989, roids, Ben Johnson. His coach testified, snitching too, that Johnson began using steroids in 1981. Damn, ain't no loyalty, cuz. And finally, on this day in 1996, A-Town Stand Up, more Black History. The great Lenny Wilkens, player and coach Lenny Wilkens becomes the winningest coach in the NBA. He coached his 1,000th victory. That was right here in the A. So shout out to Lenny Wilkens for that. And ladies and gentlemen, that is your Hump Day episode or edition of On This Day. All right, moving on here. We started the show off talking about Kevin Durant and his knee and what it's going to mean for the Warriors and all that. Because nobody can wait, right? Nobody can wait to predict the downfall of greatness. Not me. Like I enjoy greatness, man. Like I'm a person I pride myself on being real with myself. You know what I mean? And the fact of the matter is that I know, like, I'm going to be 40 years old next month. This month. Oh, damn. This month. I'll be 40 years old this month. And I know I've done some things in life that were good to very good, never great. And most people will experience that in life. That you might call some things great, but when you put them beside things that are actually great, you realize probably not so much. It's all about the context. So I realized that I probably will never experience greatness, like true, like everyone in consensus recognizes Michael Jordan's greatness. Most people, no matter how much you hate him, you got to recognize LeBron James's greatness, Magic Johnson's greatness. I may never see that. You know what I mean? Probably won't. Like most people won't. That's why it's called great, because everybody can't get there. So when I see it and I recognize it, I try to enjoy it, man. You know what I mean? And that's this Golden State Warriors team. That is what that is. LeBron James, that is what he is. When the way Russ is playing right now, he's playing great. James Harden's playing great. I enjoy all of it, but a lot of people can't wait. They cannot wait to be like, you know what we need to do? Find that way that it's gonna fail. Not me. This is why people like my man Kenny Anderson told me. It's like one of the only things I remember from this interview, both the times he was on the show, that 73 wins meant nothing. These people won 73 out of 82 games and was one game away from winning the second straight championship. By the way, like we kind of forget they had a championship in the bag already coming into the year. So it's not like this is not the Seattle Mariners. This is not the same thing as what happened with the Falcons this past season. It's none of those things, because those teams never tasted the ring for real. Like the one ounce of solace that the Golden State Warriors can always take is that, look, we came into the season ring in pocket already. You know what I mean? Everything that happened in that following season was icing on the cake we had already made. That's the way I look at it. But there's people who, because I don't think a lot of people just enjoy other people's greatness. You know what I mean? They're always looking for a way that somebody got over and somebody cheated. There used to be a saying in this country. I forget which one of those racist white presidents said it, but no man has ever made $1 million legally in America. And I think a lot of that stuff is pervasive. That thought is pervasive in sports. Like, for a team to be that good, for the Patriots to be that good, they had to have cheated. I mean, they did, but then you have to draw the link between them actually using the things that they were accused of doing and translating that or equating that to victories and championships. And that's too convoluted a road to travel. You know what I mean? You talk about like the Miami Heat and LeBron. Well, look, he had to go to Miami and blah 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 blah. All right. Kevin Durant had to go to Golden State, right? But that doesn't run afoul to the things that are allowed in sports. You can do that. It's called free agency. Like, read a book. I mean, I like when people use that one. So I know it didn't really fit right there, but yeah, read a book, man. Seriously, it's like, it's not really that, it's not really that what you're making it to be. Like, it's just unfair, Stephen A. Smith. Kevin Durant is ruining basketball for me. You're an idiot. That's why. If that ruins basketball for you, you're an idiot. Speaking of ruining basketball, as I transition here and wrap up this NBA talk, Joel Embiid, the process. He wanted you to trust him, but apparently young Metro said no. And so the injury bug shot him. Yeah, man. Joel Embiid, again, is going to miss the remainder of this. Well, he didn't play any of the other 2 seasons, but he's going to miss the remainder of this season. That puts him on the shelf again with Ben Simmons. And it's one of those, and you know what it brought to mind to me today as well? It brought to mind a term that I don't use. I don't use the term bust in the way a lot of people use it. I think it's appropriate in some circumstances. Like Johnny Manziel is a bust. I think Jamarcus Russell is a bust. I do not necessarily consider Greg Oden. I don't consider Greg Oden a bust. His body just betrayed him, and you weren't able to see. And by the way, he's played in the same amount of time. He's played more games than Joel Embiid in the NFL in the same amount of time. So NFL, good God, they don't play football. They play basketball in the NBA. Greg Oden's played more football, more basketball than Joel Embiid. And it just brings me to a couple of different areas of contention of mine. One being that people are really quickly to label someone a bust based on their own expectations. Like, certain things are uncontrollable. First of all, Kwame Brown, for example. I always tell people Kwame Brown wanted life, B. Like, he was tall and couldn't really play basketball that well, but made plenty of money doing it. And at the end of the day, I think he reached a goal that a lot of us are trying to reach in a lot of different ways. So to call him a bust based on where Michael Jordan drafted him, he had no control over that. Same with Reggie Bush, he had no control over where he was drafted. And people calling him the new Gale Sayers and all this kind of stuff. He had no control over that. You know what I mean? Reggie Bush played football. It's not a situation where, like, again, like Johnny Manziel loved cocaine and loved drinking more than he loved football. So he sabotaged his own career. Yeah, bust. Jamarcus Russell loved the money and he loved the fame. He loved to eat way more than he loved working at being a good football player. Same with Ryan Leaf. Guys who sabotage their own career, I put them in the bust category. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't even take the chance, the opportunity to explore your potential. Apparently now, Johnny Manziel's people are saying that a couple of that team at the combine have shown interest in possibly signing Manziel. You need more people, B. No one believes that. There's no reason for anyone. There's no reason for anybody. You got Vince Young talking about he making a comeback. So, like, that'd be a good question too. If given a choice, a younger, professed, sober Manziel over the older, another guy who I don't think really tapped into his potential as much because he was oversensitive over some of the things that were happening to him on the football field. Well, off the football field. But he wants to make Vince Young. He wants to make a comeback. So if you had the choice, like say you're the 49ers who don't have a quarterback, like who are you looking at? I mean, who are you looking at and saying, "Come on in here"? Look, we'll just go without one. What's the kid's name that plays running back for the 49ers? Put him back there. We're running wing T. I don't need one of them cats back here trying to take no snaps and being no damn leader and none of that craziness. Anyway, got off track here. I was talking about Joel Embiid, though. You know, I was talking about my man. You know, he seems to be a fun kid, but he's falling into that dangerous territory where ignorant people start using that word bust on him. Especially in the case with him, where you've seen the talent, and if his injuries and his body doesn't allow him to maintain a certain level of performance, oh hell yeah! And then that whole thing about I'm the process type stuff. You know how fickle y'all are as fans. Y'all gonna turn on this dude so fast, not even gonna be funny. And no one even cares about the 76ers. You don't even care about them, but it's gonna present itself as too scrumptious of an opportunity to just pile on to a kid. You know what I'm saying? And here's the other thing that this Joel Embiid process situation brings to mind. For all you people, shout out to my man Deshaun Tate, who love to talk about these dudes staying in school, developing at the college level and all that. You watch a college basketball game, and you show me any type of development that's getting done. You know what I mean? Go somewhere and talk to what's the kid's name in Chicago? Denzel Valentine. Go check with Buddy Hield. These dudes that spent all that time in college, and now they just, 20-something-year-old dudes that's trying to catch on. And then come back and talk to me about who? Karl Anthony Towns? Yep, I'm taking him. Anthony Davis? Yeah, all these one-and-done kids? Holla at me, man. Let's go now. So Joel Embiid, the same thing, because his injury, by the way, if you guys don't remember, started at Kansas. He got hurt at Kansas. So this kid goes back the next year, and now he's rehabbing for the free ski instead of getting a check for the last 2 years, and will continue to get checks this year because it's NBA money, cuz. Yeah, you can't convince me no way that that's a good thing. Yeah, make these kids stay in school and be free labor. Get your ass out of here with that crazy madness, man. God, that's the word. They're getting an education. Really? Especially in basketball. I mean, dude shows up on campus for 6 months. Ben Simmons told y'all ass, like, I'm not going to class. For what? Yeah. My job is going to be getting buckets. Another kid hurt. Could have easily been hurt at LSU this year. Talking about pride and school pride and all that ridiculous nonsense that you ridiculous fan people talk about. Where's the pride? What about his education? You don't give a damn about one of these young Negroes getting an education. You don't care. You know what I mean? You want to be able to cheer for him and all this kind of stuff. They can leave out of your school like many of them do. Dumb as damn rocks. And when the eligibility is up, your love for him is up too. We got to just start being real about this whole situation. I was reading this article last night about these myths around paying the players. We can't do that. What about the taxes and this, that, and the other? And at every turn, the article I was reading just turned back on all that, because essentially it's up to the discretion of the IRS whether they tax these scholarships, because it's on the books as room and board is taxable income. Yeah, I don't see no damn scholarship athlete paying no taxes on their dorm room or no bad college food either. It's all a scam, man. It's all a scam. Free labor. This country loves it some free labor, man. And it'll call it whatever it wants to call it, as long as they getting it. Yeah, holla at your man. Holla at your man. It's the One Mic with Big Mike show. Shout out to my man Reggie. He's in the building, up in the chat room. You guys can join him in there if you're listening to the show via Spreaker or the Spreaker app. Or, of course, my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. Just click on the little thought bubble icon to get you inside the live interactive chat room. Also, make sure you guys are signing up for the free Spreaker accounts, man, and following me on Spreaker, One Mic with Big Mike. What was I about to say about this? Anyway, the show is also available on demand on all those outlets, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. I just had a major brain queef. God, I was about to say something, and then my mouth just shut down. Shout out to Russ Westbrook. Russ got a baby on deck. He ain't only getting buckets on the court. He's dropping it in at the crib too. Him and his old lady expecting their first one. So shout out to that. Another little angry Russell Westbrook baby. You know what, dude? I hate when they describe that dude as that, man, as angry. I mean, because it's so lazy and convenient. That dude ain't a bit part angry. He's rich. He's famous. He's all the things that so many of us want to be. He has no reason to be angry. You know what I mean? That Kevin Durant stuff, I think it's all for show. You know what I mean? He's doing the Tom Brady, the Michael Jordan thing. The thing that you see a lot of these great guys do, they just find something to wear on their sleeve to continue to be jerks and a-holes as much as they want to, and people find it endearing until, of course, they don't. You know what I mean? And Russ, his time is coming. You know, the time is coming where the people will start looking at him as a victim of something, and then, you know, he'll have to deal with that again. You know, he's already dealt with it at the beginning of his career. Which one of you jerks told me that? Oh, it was I am no dose. So my poll question was, who did you think before this year? Hashtag put it on the poll is brought to us again by sportsnewsandbrews.com. The question was, who do you think would be more likely to get a triple-double, or average a triple-double for the season before this year started? And I put LeBron first, because he's the guy who I always felt like this guy's game is tailor-made for that. His body is built for the wear and tear of a long season. He got like crazy court vision. Still not the most consistent of shooters, because he has that little, he has that fade to his jump shot. He doesn't, like, you watch him and you watch a guy like Klay Thompson. It's like Klay is like up and down with the J, and LeBron has that little fade to all of his jump shots, and it lends itself to more inconsistencies. But I always thought that he would be the one, because of all the facets of his game. Once he got to the point where they were locked in, he would be the guy to challenge that triple-double record. Never saw it coming out of Russ. I think I Am No Dose was like, yeah, before this season, he would have said Russ. Come on, man. No one, even somebody like me who loves this guy's game, would have never seen Russell Westbrook averaging a triple-double with that band of characters. Enes Kanter and Steven Adams, Victor Oladipo and them cats. Come on, no one in the world. Like, I probably would have thought maybe. Nah, I was gonna go off the deep end and say maybe Carmelo. I would maybe have thought Carmelo first. That would have been a lie. Like if Carmelo averages like 5 assists, I don't even know what his stats are. But if he averages 5 assists for a career, I'd be shocked. And there's not a Carmelo bashing situation. I love Carmelo's game, but I don't think that's part of it. The facilitation part of the game ain't really, what Carmelo's all about. He's about getting them damn buckets, like a bunch of them in a variety of ways. Before I go to break here at the top of the hour, I want to ask you guys a question. And if the ladies are listening too, because I haven't checked being a terrible host, I haven't checked the Facebook situation to see who's checking in on the old Facebooker here. Reggie Bush is in a bit of a pickle here. I just talked about Reggie Bush people considering him a bust and whatnot. But apparently Reggie Bush got a side chick pregnant, which is another whole nother generational thing, man. I don't understand. Like I'm a kid that grew up in the 80s and had plenty of sex in the 90s, cuz, and you know what I mean? Like, we was like real afraid of AIDS, cuz. Like, AIDS was like, you saw Magic Johnson, you thought Magic Johnson was gonna die, man. And that put a shockwave through a lot of people. Now it's like you can't have sex with a rubber. It's like disrespectful or something. I don't know what it is. But anyway, Reggie Bush got his side piece preggers, knocked her up. And apparently they worked out a little deal here where Reggie would just drop $3 million on her. She'd terminate the pregnancy and everybody go their separate ways. He gave her a confidentiality clause or agreement or whatever, so she keep her mouth shut. And none of that has happened. And the headline of this, the headline says Reggie Bush refuses to pay child support to get mistress after she broke agreement to get abortion for $3 million. See, that almost makes it sound like Reggie Bush is just being a douchebag. You know what I mean? Like, he's being like this douchebag football player. But when I posted this on my Facebook, I actually put beside it, make sure you read it. But because I'm a good guy and I got a little time left in the segment, I'll read it for you. Okay, so Bush, of course, I mentioned he cheated on his wife, but he agreed to this side chick that he give her $3 million, she have an abortion, and stay silent. Now, she collected the money. He gave her the money now, but she did neither. She sounded off about it, and she kept the baby. Via Gossip.com, the woman who allegedly gave birth to Reggie Bush's out-of-wedlock child last month said she's balking at paying more money for the baby. Monique Esposito told, one of them Latin bras too. Shout out to Reggie for that. Told her friends and family that Bush is now playing financial hardball after she allegedly broke the terms of a confidentiality agreement between the pair about their encounters. Esposito gave birth to Preston Alexander Exposito on Super Bowl Sunday after allegedly having two trysts with Bush. In exchange for Exposito's silence and aborting the baby, Bush allegedly agreed to pay her some $3 million, a source with knowledge of the situation told Gossip. But she said the Buffalo Bills player is dragging his heels on paying her any more money after a series of stories about her alleged liaisons appeared in the media. The source added, the pair aren't seeing eye to eye on future support payments, and Bush has balked at what Exposito is asking for. So here's my question before I go to break here. This dude already dropped $3 million on this broad, right? That seems like mad generous to me. Now, outside the fact that he's a bad dude and this is going to be a real weird relationship between him and this child, I guess a little boy. It's going to be a real weird relationship between him and his boy once he finally Googles his daddy, that his daddy would paid money to have him exterminated. But outside of that, like, does this bride really have any footing to ask for any more money? Because it's almost like he gave her the child support in bulk, as opposed to monthly installments like it generally is. He just gave her $3 million. She chose not to use it for what he intended on using it for. But the fact of the matter is, $3 million is a good chunk of change to take care of a kid in America. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying. So the question is, you know, if I still did my question of the day, this would be it. Like, is Reggie Bush in the wrong for not wanting to give this broad more money for their out of wedlock baby? Life's got to be hell for him at the crib too with his old lady. Whatever. You stepped in it, dude. Yeah, put a bag on your joint, man. Stop being irresponsible. Like Reggie Bush ain't even no child. He ain't even no like adolescent cat. He's a grown man. Anyway, let's take a break. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go here on this hump day. The One Mic with Big Mike show. Don't forget, check the live stream out going on right now on my Facebook page, One Mic with Big Mike. If you're one of those lookers, you can also leave your comments and questions below the stream. You can also text me at 404-902-8104 or jump inside my live interactive chat room by clicking on that little thought bubble icon you see on the streaming player. If you're listening via Spreaker, if you have the Spreaker app on your phone, shout out to you for that, or the One Mic with BigMike.com website. I'll be back to talk to you guys about your boy, Mari Stoudemire. He's in the news for some craziness, some real straight up ridiculousness, but we'll talk about it here in just a second.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
Dave, what are you doing?
Just sending a gift to Dave 2037.
Who?
Me in the future. I save a little money from every paycheck as a gift to Dave 2037, so he can spend it on things like anti-gravity boots or a hologram Doberman, something cool like that. I think Dave 2037 deserves it. He worked hard. What are you getting Steve 2037?
I guess I was thinking Steve 2037 would just fend for himself.
Well, all right, but don't expect to be borrowing my anti-gravity boots.
You want to have money in your future? You got to start saving now. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
Hey, let's just hope Steve 2037 doesn't get his hands on a cool time machine, because he is going to come back here and knock some sense into you.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
One Mic.
All I need is one mic.
What's the name of the show?
One Mic with Big Mike.
You know, ain't nobody getting hurt, ain't nobody, there's no crime being committed.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
This is real life stuff that's happened to me.
Well, you know what?
You, and you.
One Mic with Big Mike.
I like to be able to do what I want to do.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limits.
Meek Mill's concert is not called the Hell Yeah I Bang Khloe Kardashian concert.
And now, your host.
Put your hands together for the one, the only
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
Hump Day.
Yeah, man. We on over this hump, man. 1 hour down. Maybe 1 hour to go. I got some basketball to watch, man. Shout out to today's hashtag Women Crush Wednesday. She's at Leisha Cole, like Keisha Cole, but spelled Leesha Cole, at Leisha Cole. You can go to my Facebook page, One Mic with Big Mike, and check out her photo there, or you can also just look her up, give her some likes or whatever. Tell her the One Mic with Big Mike show shouting her out or whatever. All right, so what were we talking about last segment? We were talking about Draymond and K. We started the show off talking about KD, Joel Embiid possibly being a bust in some people's eyes if this trend of him not being able to play entire seasons continues. I don't know if you guys saw this story today. It didn't really get a lot of traction, I don't think. I read it earlier today, and it kind of was like, what the hell is really still going on? Like, are cats really still worried about like gay cats in the locker rooms? Like, if you play a sport or if you've played a sport, because this is the way I figure it. Like, I played ball all the way up until up until my college years, right? So I figured if the average is, I don't know, what's the average? 1 out of every 20 dudes? Is that high, low? Let's just say, for argument's sake, 1 out of every 20 dudes, that's 5% of dudes is gay. On every football team, it's way more than 20 dudes. So if you're in the shower with more than 20 dudes, the odds say that somebody's gay up in there. You know what I'm saying? And this whole notion that, man, I can't be in the damn shower with no gay dude. Are you saying that only if you know that the person is homosexual, or if you can, I don't know, detect it, you got some sort of gaydar or whatever? It's like, it's weird, that whole notion that something's going to happen to you because you're naked in the room with a homosexual man, as opposed to naked in a room or in a shower situation with a heterosexual man. I don't know. But for those of you who hadn't heard it, let me rewind a little bit here. For those of you who hadn't heard, Amari Stoudemire, former Phoenix Sun, former Dallas Maverick, former New York Knick, he's now over in Israel. And keep in mind also, at the time he's doing this, he's making this statement, he has a shirt on that says spiritual gangster on it. Whatever the hell that means. So here's Amari Stoudemire.
I'm gonna shower across the street. Make sure my change of clothes are around the corner, and I'm gonna drive, take a different route to the gym. Huh? I mean, there's always a truth within a joke.
Okay, so he's asked the question, and before that, they played a montage of some of his other teammates being asked the question of, you know, how they would deal with a gay teammate, and everybody's, you know, whether they think it or not is, you know, up to them to decipher for you guys, but they're all saying, you know, what you say. He's like, I wouldn't care, whatever. No one cares, whatever. Now, leave it to your man. He steps out and he says, if you couldn't hear him, he talks about, I'm gonna go shower across the street. I'm gonna make sure my clothes are right near me. I'm gonna take a different way than they take to the arena. It's like, what part of the game is that, dude? And it just, like, people, like, ignorance is ignorance and whatever. Well, that ain't even really ignorance. At this point in life, that's just stupidity. You know what I mean? And this is a dude, I don't know if you guys have ever seen his whole little religious getup that he's on, and he makes his kids memorize names of people in the Bible and things of that nature. And now he's this dude that's like, yeah, I mean, damn gay people. So, what's homie's name? I have some quotes here from the guy who came out, the NBA player Jan. Y'all hear that? Damn, thunder going on out this mine. Man, did I not save the article? What's the Jan Amici? He came out, and I don't even want to paraphrase what he said, because he did it in such a, like, he just bodied this dude in such an articulate way, way more articulate than my black ass is. So I guess I didn't save it. Sucks for me. But I guess my question is this, because I know personally that I haven't always been the guy that I am now. You know, there was a time where, you know, 17, 20-year-old Mike would have had that same reaction. But when you start talking about grown men and the people who have an opportunity to speak up for people. I lied, I do have it. You have an opportunity to speak up for people, and what you choose to do is, I don't know, is to alienate people based on some sort of fabricated fear, or maybe some deep down desire. I don't know. Because here's the thing I always say. Like, I don't know this to be true. And my man Wade Davis is a gay former NFL player. He's been on the show before. And there's the thing, like, I feel uncomfortable, like, asking him to come back on the show, and only asking him to come back on the show to talk about, like, gay stuff. It's like, I don't want to do that. You know, just have you being like the resident gay guy on the One Mic with Big Mike show. I don't want to do that. But, like, I have questions. And the one thing he was, when I did talk to him, he was very gracious about answering my question. And I guess I got his answer to what I'm about to say, though, because he talked about being on a football team, looking at the other guys on your team as like your kin, your family, in the same way that you wouldn't be looking at your family in a sexual manner. Like as a gay man, just because he's a gay man, he wouldn't be looking at those guys that way. I guess my comeback to that is this: like I'm a person who's able to distinguish very clearly, like family from family. You know what I'm saying? And if you're a gay guy and you're attracted to, like, say you are attracted to muscular, big muscular dudes, like I would think that it would be like naturally the natural thing, because as a gay guy, you're still a guy, right? And I would just figure, maybe figuring wrong, but you're wired in the way that guys are wired in an aesthetic fashion. Like we get stimulated by aesthetics, by beauty and sound and things that you can touch. So if you see a dude that you're attracted to, it almost beg the reason that you would, you take a peek. You know what I mean? Because in the same way, if you in the shower with somebody that you think is like your play sister or whatever people still do, play cousin, and she fine as hell, like you gonna look. It doesn't mean that you're gonna just do some animalistic stuff and just dive on her or none of that stuff. But I would think, and for dudes who like, man, ain't no dude looking at me. It's like, come on, man. If that's the worst thing somebody do, look at you. Like you don't catch gay, and you don't catch it by someone just looking at you either. You know what I mean? As far as I know, science has told us, has confirmed that. But so that's not really your worry, and it just makes me wonder about the people who are an adults that go that hard about something, because all you're doing is really persecuting other people. Like the situation with Jason Collins. I remember talking about this on my radio show when we were doing radio, and saying that the only thing that I could think about when I think about a dude like that is feeling that he had to hide who he was, regardless of what that is, gay or straight or anything else. Having to hide that out of fear, to the point where he had a girlfriend, and I guess they were engaged, and apparently he used to blow her damn back out too, because she was like, when asked about it, she was like, hell no, I couldn't tell no difference. Like, so that's that overcompensation. Like when I was talking to Wade, when Wade came on the show, even before he came on the show, and I saw his story on Real Sports, the first thing I asked him about when he came on my show was like a situation of him going to the strip club with his buddies and feeling like he had to be like the extra, like throw the most money and be the most machoist guy in there to kind of cover up the fact that he was a gay cat. And when I think about that, like not many things like make me sad or whatever. You know what I mean? Like my old lady came here before I started the show talking about her coworker just found out that her man was cheating on her. She's like, babe, ain't that sad? I was like, I don't know her. Hell no, I ain't sad. I'm about to get on this show and talk this ish to these folks. I'm not sad at all. But the one thing I do find myself being sad about when you start talking about just people in their treatment of other people and other groups of people, because I'm not the black dude that looks at it like that's totally different from what black people went through. No, it's not. Like anybody's rights being stripped from them, anybody who has to fear being who they are, it's all in the same ball of wax. You know what I mean? And the question when I was on radio, the question that I asked people when we were taking calls and all that kind of stuff, is like, how would you feel if you couldn't go out with your girlfriend? If you out with your girlfriend, you couldn't hold her hand, you couldn't put your arm around her because of what people would think about you. And it's so stupid to me that you got to put things into that paradigm for people, for them to understand that feeling where they just can't be empathetic towards someone else's situation and say, you know what, that's wrong. What he's doing has no bearing on my life. And the other thing is that he's doing the same thing that everyone else is doing. Like we're all, like from birth almost, we're all in pursuit of genuine happiness. So if I say this all the time, and I say it very graphically, if Jason Collins finds his happiness in another dude's anus, run it. As long as they both adults and it's all consensual, run it. I ain't got no, I don't have no beef with that. And I'll say this as well to people who think that everything is about gay bashing, the people on the other side of the situation. Everything is not that. Like, some things are just weird to people. You know, and that doesn't mean that you're against it. Or, like, to me, like, bringing it back to me personally, I can't watch movies where dudes are tongue kissing. It's still weird to me. I don't think they shouldn't be able to do that. Hell yeah, you should. If that's what you want to run it. But it's a weird thing to me. It's weird to me as when people curse around their parents. Like, I'm 40 years old, about to be 40 years old. As foul as my mouth is, I don't cuss around my moms and my pops. You know what I mean? I just don't. It's like I'm just from that part of time where that's not what you do. And when I see people like having conversations with their parents and they just like going off with the cuss words, it's weird to me. But if that's the relationship that they got, run that. Let's go. So again, like, discrimination is not one of those things where you can just like call like, if I say like two dudes kissing is weird to me, or he hates gay people. I don't. You know, the gay's my folk. You know what I mean? Straight up. But I don't necessarily, like, I'm not even a dude who really like to see like public displays of affection between like girlfriend and boyfriend. Like, some dude just diving in some girl's mouth. I'm trying to eat my shrimp scampi. I ain't trying to see that either. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. Like, Amari Stoudemire is an idiot. You know what I mean? He's one of those religious nut jobs too. Just, if you got HBO, man, just go look at his Real Sports. And it's just like this weird, like, he's this newfound Jew, but he's not like a traditional Jew. He's made up his own little crevice within the Jewish religion. It's all kind of crazy, cuz, you know what I mean? And all just to have the right to discriminate against people. You know, all that just to have the right to just say, you know what, you're different than me, so your lifestyle is wrong. Miss me with the craziness, man. At some point, man, people gotta grow up, man, and understand everybody ain't like you. The NFL, by the way. The NFL. What up, boy? What up, Marcus? Marcus up in here. He's in the chat room, man. You guys can join him and Reggie and Big L. You can join him in the chat room. Just head over to Spreaker, SPREAKER.com, or download the app from your app store. Sign up for your free account, then follow One Mic or the One Mic with Big Mike show, and then click that little thought bubble icon you see on the streaming player. You can get up in here and talk this ish. So a lot of transactions going on in the NFL, and that leads back to another one of my poll questions. You know, people who've heard me talk over the years on radio about the drafting of running backs know that I don't give a damn how good you tell me some kid was in college running over other kids, other children, or grown men. Like, people like Leonard Fournette and people like Todd Gurley were adults just trampling over people's children. But I don't care how much of that you've done. I don't need your ass in the first round. Like, I don't think the Dallas Cowboys, although the Ezekiel Elliott thing worked out wonderfully, like better than anyone could have probably expected. I know some people thought he may lead the league in rushing based on everything that was in place. But that's the point. Look at what everything's in place. Usually when you're drafting that high to get that kid, you suck at every area, i.e. the LA Rams. They brought it, like, I asked you guys this. I asked Reggie and I Am No Dose and everybody on Facebook watching on the Facebook live stream. If I put these two people side by side in college, not from what you've seen in the NFL, if I put Todd Gurley and I put Ezekiel Elliott, who you drafting first? Like, for my money, I'm taking Todd Gurley every time. And that's not a slight on Ezekiel Elliott. It's not like if it's a two-player or a two-team draft and you get stuck with the second pick, you're going to be like, damn, I got hosed. Nah, you still getting a damn good player, but I believe wholeheartedly that the better running back is Todd Gurley. The difference is Todd Gurley's out there with a clown show in L.A. with people who can't catch the ball, who aren't NFL wide receivers. You can keep that Tavon Austin nonsense. Trick play, you got to hand the ball to him because he don't know routes. He don't know how to read coverages. You either got to tell him to run straight or come get this reversed or line up in the backfield or something gimmicky. Miss me with that. You got Jared Goff and Kellen, whatever the other kid's name that was playing quarterback, another trash operation. Up front, they're garbage. The total opposite of what the Dallas Cowboys are. You know what I mean? And people talking about now going into the draft, you know, who's gonna be the Dak Prescott? Nobody. Dak Prescott's a good quarterback. Like, let's not get it twisted, but it's a lot easier for a young quarterback to play in the system that he played in than it was for like David Carr. You're getting your face knocked in every play, leading the league historically in sacks per year as a rookie. It's a lot different. You can sit back there, look at the games, man. He's bouncing on his toes, scanning the field. You know what I mean? Got the athleticism to get out the pocket. It's a whole different ballgame, and not many teams are ready rock the way the Cowboys were. That offensive line ain't nothing to F with, man. I'm talking about the front line guys, the depth they have. They have first-round picks that aren't even playing. That kid, Lyle Collins, who fell out of the draft because his ex-girlfriend got murdered, that's a first-round lottery pick. They just picked up off the old free agency situation. They got another kid that they picked up late in the season. That was like the number 2 overall pick, a guard. Stop playing, man. Like, this is one of those things, man, that when it all comes down to it, your running back situation, y'all who love the running backs, LeGarrette Blount, James White, Tevin Coleman, what's the kid's name? Devontae, what's that damn boy's name? The other kid that plays down here in Atlanta. The kid from Miami, what the hell is his name? Devontae Freeman. Yeah. Ain't now one of them dudes even thought about no first round. So now you got this year. Teams need running backs. Seems to be some pretty good ones out there. But it's deep as hell, too. It's a deep running back class. I was going to say running back class this year. But somebody's gonna see that boy, that Leonard Fournette. They're going to see him this weekend. I don't know what he's doing at the Combine, but he will have his pro day. They'll see him. They'll see Christian McCaffrey. Who don't let him being a white boy fool you into thinking that this kid is not an athlete. They'll see the guy who I think is probably the best all-around running back, Dalvin Cook, the kid out of Florida State. They'll see him, and somebody be licking their chops with that number 5 pick. Carolina's gonna be down there. They need a running back. Yeah, somebody's gonna get the Patriots at 30, whatever. Christian McCaffrey, right up their alley, right? People are projecting a couple of first-round backs this year. Yeah, you can keep me out of that market. Anyway, getting back to these moves, though. One of the moves, the reason I got on this running back situation, because Adrian Peterson people finally realize it don't pay to fall in love with a running back. Adrian Peterson's been in Minnesota his whole career. That team has been garbage. And at points, a little less than garbage. But for the most part, he's up there running for $2,000. Garbage. The running back position just doesn't make a difference on your ball club. They pump so much money into that one position, it's almost ridiculously stupid. Because why? He's Adrian Peterson and people think he's a cyborg and all this kind of madness, man. Yeah, I'm good. Because if other guys can get a team to the right place to a certain level of play, being much less or taking up a lot less amount of my cap space, I'm good with it. I don't need no dude. That's why you see what's happening in Pittsburgh. Le'Veon Bell's the best running back in the league, arguably, right? You know what's happening to him? Franchise tag. They're gonna rent that dude this year. Just come out the pocket with the 1-year lump sum. They're probably gonna rent him again next year because he's got a little bit of a health issue, and then he liked the weed. I mean, that's the other thing. He liked the weed, and the next time he get popped for it, it's gonna cost him a lot more than he might be worth if you pony up all that guaranteed money for him. So, as running backs go, he'll be rented this year, probably be rented next year, and then they'll figure it out. They'll go back into the draft and get another Le'Veon Bell. That's my philosophy. Run these dudes into the damn ground. Remember Eddie Lacy? Eddie Lacy was good at one point, wasn't he? Eddie Lacy's probably like 900 pounds right now. He ain't played football in months and can't stop eating. He's probably 900 pounds. You move on from him. 2nd round pick, be all right with moving on from him. So now the question is, where does Adrian Peterson wind up? in somebody's platoon system. He's not going to be, some feature every down back. Might find his way to New York, Minnesota. I just mentioned them. I'm not sorry, Minnesota. Green Bay. Sorry is what I meant to say. Detroit is another team that's right in the division. If you want to be on that get back situation. Speaking of get back, real quick, did y'all realize that I mentioned Darren Williams, but Andrew Bogut is going to be playing tonight. He's playing tonight, I guess, against the Celtics. I'm watching it right now on television. That dude gave up $2.5 million to not go to the Rockets and go to the Cavaliers. Yeah. Hashtag white people problems. Yeah, you show me the brother that's doing that. $2.5, I don't give a damn how rich you are. $2.5 million, $2.5 million. He's making $400,000. Could have made about $300 million. No one's making that. Made about $3 million playing for the Rockets. Still a good team. With the injury of Durant, and got a better chance all of a sudden. I wish I would. I wish I would. Anyway, getting back to these moves here in the NFL before I go to break here. The Patriots are saying that they're not interested in moving Jimmy Garoppolo. And a lot of people are saying that's because they love Jimmy Garoppolo. I just think that says more about the reality of what Tom Brady is. Like, I don't get into that whole thing about people talking about cats finding the fountain of youth and all that. Look, dude, I lived through the steroid era when everybody act like, they was ostriches with their heads in the sand. Wow, Barry Bonds just hit that ball like 793 feet. That's amazing. No, it's steroids. It's PEDs is what it is. So now I look for it everywhere. Dude playing awesome football in better shape at 40 than he was at 20. I ain't saying. I'm just saying. And I think the Patriots know a little bit more. They see him every day. They don't want to be left out there with this dude. He's on the shelf, 40-something years old, and they got Jacoby Brissett. They got Jimmy Garoppolo. You know what I mean? And that way, if something does happen to Brady this year, they can part ways with his ass and then put that money on Jimmy Garoppolo's books and had him a quarterback. If not, they stuck with the scenario of going back into the draft and trying to find another one. Another guy to learn that system and hope that Brady can buy them some more time. He's done it over and over and over again every time they draft a quarterback. He's bought them time over and over and over again, and hopefully if they have to hold on to Jimmy Garoppolo, because I don't see a scenario where you franchise your backup quarterback for like $27 million next year. By the way, the salary cap is going up another $10 million this year, so I think for those people interested in that kind of stuff, it's up to $167 is your salary cap for the NFL this year, somewhere around there. Speaking of guys eating up your salary cap, Kirk Cousins. One of the few times in the NFL where a player has so much leverage on his side, and he's using it so wisely, man. Like, he don't give a damn. Like, he's not thinking about what if I get hurt. Over the next this year and last year, if he stays under this salary or this franchise tag, $50 million. Walking away. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good damn loot. So if he has to go, so the understanding would be if they don't work something out by July, they've already put the exclusive tag on it, which means he can't even negotiate with anybody else. So the only negotiations that are going to be happening is going to be between Kirk Cousins and the Redskins. And based on the fact that they tagged him last year and tagged him this year, you put yourself, if you're the Redskins, in a position where that's where the negotiations start. What was it, 25 last year and 27 this year? Like, the negotiations start at $27 million for, yes, Kirk Cousins, cuz. Shout out to him for that, man. Get money. You know what I'm saying? Because next year, they're not going to franchise him again for $30 million. So if he plays this whole year, he'll definitely be a free agent this year. And somewhere way across country, his first offensive coordinator in the league, got a head coaching job and a 6-year deal to boot with the 49ers. So if they don't do something about the quarterback situation this year, we'll talk about that, their whole situation after the break, because I don't really care about the team itself, but Colin Kaepernick decided that he was going to opt out of his deal, which either way it was going to happen, either because I guess the way it went, he was going to get paid $14.5 million, but both he and the team had the option of opting out of the deal. So one of the two were going to do it, and he chose to him and his new agent chose to go ahead and take that route. So we'll get to that here on the other side of the break. But yeah, this Kirk Cousins thing, the stalemate game that the Redskins is playing, it's going to end up biting them either way. Like if he comes out next year and just sucks like Ryan Fitzpatrick did this year, either way it doesn't make a hell of a difference. Anyway, it don't matter at all because you gonna still get stuck for $50 million over 2 years on a dude named Kirk Cousins. Anyway, let's take a break. Hump Day edition of One Mic with Big Mike. We're gonna come back, get into some more of these transitions. Let me tell you, or transactions, I should say, in the NFL, and also give you guys a little bit of an option here. Adidas is giving the kids an option at the combine. I want to tell you guys about it and ask you guys what you think about it as well. It's the One Mic with Big Mike show. I'm here, man. Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. Tune in, OneMicWithBigMike.com. I'm live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and on demand at all times. I'm also on demand on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. Like I say, I'll be right back to wrap up the show. Last segment, man, coming up.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
My name is Dale Pazinski. I'm 19 years old, and this is how I live united. I've always been kind of a computer geek, and I found a way to use those skills to help the homeless in my community. For people facing hard times, computer skills and a basic resume are so important. It may seem like a small thing, but it makes a huge difference in people's lives. So with United Way, I created a program where I work with the homeless. Together, we go through their whole job history, write a resume, and then save it on their very own USB drive. We provide workbooks and training certificates. I even budgeted for cupcakes so we can celebrate as a class when one of our people gets a job. That's huge. When somebody says, "Hey man, that job that you helped me apply for? I got it." That's what living united feels like to me. My name is Dale Pazinski. I help people achieve financial independence. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
And now back to One Mic with Big Mike.
And here we go.
Hey. Getting on over this hump, man. Here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. About 28 minutes left in tonight's show, at least, or at the most, I should say. I'm not beholden to anybody's schedule but my own. So it's time for me to get the hell up out of here. I'm going to get the hell up out of here. Make sure you guys are following me on Twitter and Instagram at One Mic with Big Mike and checking out the hashtag. Put it on the poll questions. I'll update those for you guys in just a second. Take this number down, man, 404-902-8104. That's how you get in touch with the show. You can text me at that number. You can also jump inside my live interactive chat room here on Spreaker, or just drop your comments and questions for the watchers in you. You can drop your comments and questions right below the live streaming video on my Facebook page, which is also at One Mic with Big Mike. All right, the hashtag put it on the poll questions, which is in English. I'm a mumble mouth. Brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com. The first one is Adidas is giving an island away, or $1 million to the NFL Combine attendee that breaks Chris Johnson's 40-yard dash record. Which would you want? You want the $1 million, or you want the island? They're giving away an island or $1 million, and apparently the island is worth $1 million. I don't know what the running rate is for a good island, you know what I mean? So $1 million might get you a little something. I don't know. It may get you nothing, like a grain of sand or something. Don't know. But those are the options. And they say you can't get both. You can only get one. Like you can't like run a 4.2 flat in the first heat and then come back and run a 4.21. And like I did it twice. I want the island and I want the millie. Can't do that. You know, it would suck to have your own island and be broke though. That'd be terrible. Before this year, who did you think had the best chance of averaging a triple-double for a season? LeBron, Anthony Davis, the Greek Freak, or nobody. And 100% of the people so far are saying LeBron, who's playing right now. They up on the Boston Celtics 26-20. The Boston Celtics have been in a little bit of a slide here lately, man. What happened to the king of the fourth? The king in the fourth, my man Isaiah. Oh, 5'9" of his ass too, boy. That's an amazing situation. In what round of the NFL draft do you think teams should start drafting running backs? This is based on my conversation that I don't believe any running back is a first round running back. 100% of the people so far are saying between rounds 3 and 4. That's where I like mine at. So I can run their ass into the ground and then make them somebody else's problem. Could you have ever envisioned Darrelle Revis's career ending this way? And this way being, he was cut today. He was released, and they're saying they had nothing to do with them two boys that got put to sleep on the street for following behind my man the other day. They saying they had nothing to do with that, but whatever. He's cut now. He doesn't have a team right now. But 100% of the people so far are saying, yeah, they could definitely envision, or saying no, I'm sorry, no, because I couldn't either. I couldn't envision his career ending this way either. And finally, this one has a couple of hours left on it. Did you watch Agent Orange's speech? Your president, Agent Orange. 100% people saying no. Yeah, I ain't taking no time to watch that. Steph and John Wall were shooting basketball. What I need the orange ghoul for in this situation? Only to find out by watching, I guess call it the post game. He doing that but sitting there and lie to people, use this lady as a prop. Her old man got killed in his botch raid that he blamed everybody. He blamed everybody else for. He's like, yeah, I got some great generals, but man, yeah, they let that boy die, didn't they? I was like, he said it was Obama. He's like, yeah, this mission was already a go before I got here. Yeah, he lies like a child. I don't know what happened to it. It was like that when I got here. He lies like a damn child. But that's y'all president, man. Shout out to America KKK. What was I? Oh, so yeah. This is what I just asked you guys the question, but I'll reiterate it now. All right, so Adidas promises to give an island to the NFL draft prospect who breaks the 40-yard dash record. Let me give you guys the rules and all that kind of stuff, too, because there are stipulations to this, right? The prospect, of course, must be wearing the 2017 Adi Zero 5-star 40 cleats. So you can't just be wearing no regular Adidas. That ain't the move. And you must accept an endorsement deal with the company before the 2017-18 NFL season, which makes me think, like, what if it's some dude from, like, I don't know, Jackson State or something that isn't really projected to get drafted? Like he ain't even got to be from Jackson State, because you remember last year, Keith Marshall, the running back from Georgia, the often injured running back from Georgia, went out there and screamed down the track, ran like 4.3 something. But he didn't get drafted because he didn't play enough, and we found out in the NFL he wasn't good enough either. He got some run with the Redskins for a minute, and didn't hear anything else from him. After these jackknives down here talking about, man, look at Keith Marshall 40. He definitely going first. I mean, maybe second round because of a 40B. That just tells you, man, like the level of like sports stupidity that's just around. People feel like a dude running a 40 automatically puts him in the first round when everyone else projected his best placement maybe 6th round, and he ended up not getting drafted because, of course, he plays running back. Who cares? He got to play some this year because he's a running back. We can get those anywhere. Bring us something else. Bring us a 6'5" wide receiver that runs 4.3, and then we can talk. A running back, dime a dozen. So anyway, you got to be wearing those cleats. And you got to accept an endorsement deal. But I wonder if it's a guy who doesn't get drafted, you still get the endorsement deal, because that'd be hot. You're just a regular dude with who is Adidas endorsing? I mean, I guess you get all the Yeezys. That's cool. You get all the Yeezys before they come out. You get the James Hardens, whatever they look like. I hadn't really seen those on the shelves, but you get some Swaggy P's. I don't know what Adidas is doing. I got Adidas in my closet, but I don't know like whose shoe they is or are. Oh, I got black then. I don't know whose shoe they is. the island will be chosen by Adidas. That's kind of skeptical. I mean, like, you can't tell me where is that beforehand. Like, you doing all this, you telling me that, you know, the island's worth $1 million. You already, you putting that up there. The island is worth $1 million. So, of course, you can also cash it in and just collect $1 million from Adidas. I think I'm going to take the $1 million, man. You know what I mean? As much as I want an island, as much as baller as I think that is, I don't trust these folks. Yeah, we gonna pick you an island. It'd be like somewhere that's right in like Tornado Alley. Like every 6 months, the whole island just get wiped out for 6 months. You know what I mean? I'm good, man. Nah, give me the $1 million. I'll figure it out. I'll find a cheaper island for like $500,000, and then keep another 500 or something. If you can find, I almost believe that if you can find an island for $1 million, you can find an island for $500,000. You can, like, you know what I mean? Apparently, you're not supposed to say you can Jew people down because that's offensive. But that's the term we used to use back in the day. You know what I mean? You got to Jew them down. You go to the flea market. You're trying to get some, you know, get some jewelry or something. You got to Jew them down. But because now it's 2017, and the worst thing you can do is offend somebody. I don't know. I'll love the day, and I probably won't see it before I die. The day that stupid people don't rule the world. You know what I mean? Like, we got to acquiesce to everybody's feelings and everybody's stupid beliefs and all this kind of ridiculousness. Anyway, let me go ahead and clean the plate real quick, get all this stuff out of here. The TO thing is still on. The TO thing is still in the news. I didn't even talk about this. Bill Polian, or maybe I did. You guys realize soon enough that I don't even listen to the show. Stuff comes out of my mouth. I don't know what it is because I'm not listening. But you guys remember Bill Polian talked about T.O. and Randy Moss. That they're not worthy of the Hall of Fame because he wants players who make their teammates better. Okay, let's just forget about what they do after. Like Lawrence Taylor had like 1 million like sex abuse and rape charges on him. Whatever happened to his son? Because his son caught one too. Yeah, Lawrence Jr. I think caught a rape charge. I think statutory rape or something like that last year. Hey, I'm gonna have to look that up and see, you know, get the newness on that. But he's in the Hall of Fame. Nobody got a problem with that. O.J. Simpson, you know, murdering folks. Whatever. O.J., come on in. But not T.O. And now some other dude is talking about why Terrell Owens shouldn't get into the Hall of Fame. They're saying it's his fault because he won't ignore questions about it. One of the most ridiculous things ever. But again, it goes back to that mentality that just shut up and play, black boy. You know, just be happy for what you've already gotten. There's no, like, the whole Hall of Fame thing is a sham at this point. You know what I mean? Like, because people could understand, you know, guys like maybe Chris Carter who weren't as high up on a lot of these wide receiver lists as guys like Terrell Owens. By the way, I always say this when I talk about this guy. Just Google Marvin Harrison. Google Marvin Harrison murder investigation. Just Google that and let that go. Because Bill Polian, that's a guy. Marvin Harrison was on Bill Polian's team up there in Indianapolis. Loves him. Yeah, Marvin Harrison got bodies on him, cuz. That's not even a trip. But meanwhile, just this dude having a big mouth. You know, Randy Moss said he ain't play hard all the time. Seemed to have worked out pretty well. I mean, that whole notion. Like, there are certain people that have to go balls to the wall to make that type of living in professional sports. There's some people who just, like Russell Westbrook, they just do it. But there's some people that are just better than you. Like, come just rolling out of bed. They better than you. And believe that, you know what? I don't have to put forth all this much effort. Deion Sanders once said that he's never run as fast as he possibly could in baseball or football. He's once said, quote, he's never run as fast as he possibly could in either sport. I don't know what you call that, but it worked out for him. So this whole nonsense about, you know, just call it what it is, man. Like, you at this point, everyone has a voice and a vehicle, and not everyone uses it for very, you know, intelligent dialogue. This guy Gary Myers of the New York Daily News, he's got an unnamed source, a guy who's in the Hall of Fame, says Owens told this unnamed Hall of Famer that he had his own that he has career statistics placed on the back of this Hall of Fame of his own Hall of Fame jacket that he had made. The unnamed Hall of Famer who scoffed at the gesture has some advice for Owens. Quote, "I told him he is dividing the selection committee just like he divided locker rooms." That's one of the dumbest statements I've ever. Like, raise your hand if you feel like Freddie Mitchell and Todd Pinkston was getting that Philadelphia Eagles team to the Super Bowl. No, they were. You know how I know why? Because the three chances they had before that didn't work. When they lost in those NFC Championship games, all three of them years before. Yeah, man, what the hell ever. Yeah, he divided the locker room. Really? Yeah, 16 touchdowns will help you get over that division real easily. He had 16 touchdowns with the Cowboys. That's one a game. That dude was worth one touchdown a game in 2000 and whatever that was. But anyway, he says, quote, "I told him to be quiet, let the process work, and he will get in." That's basically just saying, man, like, just settle down, little boy. Kiss that ass. That dude shouldn't have to kiss nobody's ass. He put his work in. You know what I mean? And so many of these people, and the funny thing, that none of these people are acknowledging what the actual rules are. The rules are for the Hall of Fame that you're not allowed to as a voter. And I know we talk about human beings, but you're not allowed to as a voter to take personal umbrage and take people's off the field. It's one thing about the football, the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's all about the on field stuff. And the reason I know this is because Darren Sharper, serial rapist Darren Sharper, there is no legitimacy of keeping him out of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The rapes don't mean a thing, just like I mentioned about OJ. They don't mean anything because the rules specifically state, and I read this when I was looking this up, that when people were talking about, I think Peter King wrote an article that Darren Williams is a Hall of Famer, and the rules say he is. His numbers say he is 1. And he has a huge character flaw that he likes to drug and rape women, which is horrible. But whatever. So my proposition is change the rules. If all these dudes are so butthurt over T.O. and they think that, you know, he wasted his talent, and every wide receiver statistic, every list has his name amongst like him, Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, the top of every receiver list. Meanwhile, you got this one old, like, that's the other thing too, like Bill Polian. Like, stop giving people credit for being old. We do that too much. We gotta listen to him because he's old. What the hell ever. There's plenty of old people that's senile as hell and dumb as hell. He's the same one that last offseason said that the Indianapolis Colts should just give Andrew Luck a blank check. For what? For what? I don't know about y'all. I've yet to see the perfect football player. Like, I think that person, whoever he may be, the guy that you build on Madden, give him the blank check. Andrew Luck got way too many flaws, man, in his game. He's a good quarterback, but he got way too many flaws in his game for us to be talking that foolishness. But this is a guy who people expect you to listen to because he's old and he's been in the league a long time. I'd say at some point, it's time to stop listening to those people. Yeah, at some point, all that reverence and all that, yeah, it just turns into like senile, bat crap dumbness. T.O. And then after he says T.O. and Randy Moss shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, or he doesn't see them as Hall of Famers, he says they'll both get in. What a ridiculous human being. But anyway, back to this article by this guy, Gary Myers. He talks about how T.O. has the audacity to complain that he's been snubbed. The audacity. He ain't supposed to say nothing. You know, he says, quote, "Owens is not going about this the right way." And I hate hearing white people say that to black people, man. Like, don't tell me how to be mad, cuz. You know what I mean? Like, unless you know my life, don't tell me how to be mad about none of this stuff. When these kids is getting shot in the street by these police, then Colin Kaepernick, who I actually meant to say something about here in this segment, want to take a knee and not stand up for this bullcrap song. He could have done it in so much of a better way. I heard Richard Sherman say that the other day. Because people are not going to look at the why you're doing it. They're just going to look at the what you're doing. No, because people choose to do that. He shouldn't have to acquiesce to idiots. Oh, he's disrespecting the troops. You know why you're saying that? Because you don't want to live with the reality that black men are getting murdered by people that they're supposed to trust. That's why it's easy. It's an easy scapegoat. That ain't on Colin Kaepernick to acquiesce to people's stupidity. That's on the stupid people to stop being stupid. But anyway, we'll get more into that hopefully before I wrap the show up. He says the more he criticizes the process, back to the quote, or says it's no longer important to him, the harder he makes it for himself. Just like he alienated quarterbacks. It's not the same thing. The anti-TO voters are becoming even more entrenched in their position by Owens' insults and the insults of the non-voters in the media who are campaigning for his election. No one's insulting anybody. Other than the fact that it is stupid. Like, that's just factual. It's stupid. There's no real reason to keep this dude out other than the fact that, he did some push-ups and some sit-ups in his driveway. He was a guy who loved a lot of attention. He was a loudmouth. All right. Plenty of cokeheads in the Hall of Fame, murderers. You know what I'm saying? Michael Irvin, who in this article, the author of the article says that he would take Michael Irvin, who I love, over Terrell Owens. Michael Irvin stabbed a dude in the neck with some scissors over a haircut. A teammate. Talking about being a bad teammate. He stabbed a dude in the neck with some scissors. Yeah. It's like people have all this revisionist history because of how they like you and how they see you. Mike Irvin did a wonderful job of recreating himself and putting himself on TV and still maintaining that playmaker persona, that intensity that at times makes him look like a damn crazy man on TV. But then it also endears him to white people. You know what I mean? He got up on the stage and cried when they gave him his gold jacket. I hope. Like, I haven't watched a Hall of Fame speech since I saw Curtis Martin's, which I think was just over the top awesome, which made me say I'm not watching nobody else's Hall of Fame speech. No one will top this guy's speech. If you ever get a chance, check out Curtis Martin's Hall of Fame speech on Twitter or on NFL Network or wherever they're playing it at. But I'll watch T.O.'s because I hope it's petty as hell. I hope he run out there with some middle fingers up, the whole nine. And if it's not, I'll be totally disappointed. Maybe not the last thing, but I don't want to forget to do this. Colin Kaepernick, as I was talking about the movement that's going on in the National Football League. Colin Kaepernick, he opted out of his contract today, or he plans on opting out. So that leaves the San Francisco 49ers with absolutely no quarterbacks on the roster or under contract. Now, he can always re-sign because $14.5 million is going to be a lot for a guy like Colin Kaepernick, who hasn't really shown himself to be a player of that value moving forward. I don't know that he'll necessarily be back there, but, sometimes necessity is all you need. And he's in a good position. The team that he just left doesn't have any quarterbacks. So he can go and maybe play it, like kind of slow play it, especially since now the Patriots are saying that they don't want to come up off of Jimmy Garoppolo. It doesn't look like anything's happening on the Kirk Cousins front as it relates to either one of them winding up in San Francisco. So maybe Colin Kaepernick can go, stick his toe in the water, see what kind of reception he's getting, because I feel like it's going to be hard because my man has already said, I'm not standing up for this damn pledge no more until stuff changes. And with Agent Orange in the White House, good luck. Good luck, man. These cats are talking about like bolstering the police department and not reforming it and not. They've already taken off the books. You remember how like when these cats, the Ferguson stuff was happening, like Obama would litigate against these cities and these police departments on behalf of the federal government would litigate and sue them. Well, your man, Agent Orange, took that off the books. Won't be no more of that. Won't be no more of the federal government keep holding these local police accountable for murdering black kids in the street. Yeah, yeah, that's happening. That's a real thing, man. So, if you're Colin Kaepernick, nothing's changing anytime soon. And that's probably, I could only assume that will be one of the questions. If he goes and meets with Todd Bowles and them, with the Jets, they need a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Somebody to bridge the gap between what was in Ryan Fitzpatrick and what might be in like a guy like Bryce Petty or whoever the kid was from from Penn State a couple years ago. Who else need? I don't know who else need quarterback help that badly. You know what I'm saying? I don't know that he's the upgrade necessarily over Brock Osweiler. You know, I mean, as bad as he is, I don't know, because they got so much money on the books in that regard. So the market may not be just wide open for the kid either. He might have to end up with a lower dollar amount to play back in San Francisco. That's if they'll have him. I mean, they've acted as though, not Jeb York, but the other cat, the owner, the GM. I mix them up sometimes, but they've seemed to embrace him, and they've donated some money to some bullcrap organization. I looked up the organization, and it was like some look like a damn shell company, but you know, the gesture was there, I guess. So as the season moves on, we'll kind of see what kind of interest the off season goes on, because a lot of stuff is going to be going on this weekend at the combine. A lot of talking is going to be happening between teams and whatnot. Then you got this Dante Hightower thing. Dante Hightower, people keep saying he's the guy who turned around the Super Bowl. Yeah, you know what that is? In the past, like, ain't nobody. I don't believe in that anyway. I'm not going to pay you again for what you've already done. Like, he didn't play in that Super Bowl for free. He got paid for it. So when people say, man, I can't believe they don't let him walk after what he did in the Super Bowl. Yeah, he already did it, and they got the ring. So, I mean, they got the trophy, and they about to get the ring. So to pay him now for what he's already done, that's like some dude coming and fixing your roof, re-shingling your roof. You pay him, but then for whatever reason, you got to pay him again in a month. Nah, I don't think nobody's doing that. Nah, he got paid, and he's about to move on. A couple things before I get up out of here. The league is looking into, I guess, curving celebration penalties, because as you saw this year in the NFL, it got way out of hand. My man, like Antonio Brown, was twerking, and they found it to be a sexual gesture. That's what happens too when old white men are in charge of governing young black men. You can't keep up. Like too much is changing, and it's happening too fast in the culture. You know what I mean? This dude is twerking, and you think it's some sort of sexual dance. Nah, it's just the dance. It's just like last year's dab. You know what I mean? Like, but white people still think that's a thing. The dab is still, why can all the Negroes just dab? That seemed to be respectable enough until you find out what dabbing is. Dabbing is marijuana, is weed. You know what I mean? That's the terminology for that. But nonetheless, I already mentioned the salary cap as well. I mentioned Nikki's ass. I didn't get an answer though. Like, I don't understand. Like, when a broad's ass starts deflating, can you go get that pumped up? Oh, and the last thing, this baseball thing is weird as hell, and I don't know, but they reaching. Okay, they're partnering with Game of Thrones to try to elicit more young viewers, because all baseball fans are dying. You know, the average age of baseball fans is way higher than any other sport, and at least Rob Manfred is willing to acknowledge it. A lot of people in baseball don't even acknowledge that stuff. God, I want to talk about this story too, but I'm confused about. I don't necessarily know that people who like Game of Thrones, like, because I watch Game of Thrones, watch the hell out of it, but like the nerdy ones who read the books and know all the stories, because I don't know any of that stuff. Are they the same people who like baseball though? Like, this might be an exercise in futility. This is real, like, I don't know. I mean, it's a reach, and I guess they got to because of the status of their fan base, but it just feels weird. And the very, very last thing before I break, because I don't want to like carry this over. A couple of Richmond baseball players, the NCAA has suspended them. You want to know why? They committed secondary violations, and they are ineligible for competition until the NCAA completes its reinstatement process for them playing fantasy football. Apparently, the NCAA considers fantasy football contests with an entry fee to be a form of sports wagering, and therefore off limits to student athletes, regardless of the sport. The hypocrisy of the NCAA holes. It's March, ladies and gentlemen. College basketball season has started. Now, somebody hit me up today. My man Alan from Baseline to Goal Line Sports. hey man, you gonna be in this bracket challenge we got going on? I'm like, all right, it's about that time of year. Let's do it. I don't know anything, but yeah, I can cram and guess and close my eyes and throw darts at a damn bracket. All that stuff is gonna be all over your TV. Fill out your bracket. A couple kids play fantasy football. They gotta lose their eligibility. God, boy, the NCAA, yeah, foiled again by your hypocrisy. Anyway, man, that's gonna do it. The Hump Day edition of the One Mic with Big Mike show is over.
Hump Day.
Yep, that's it. It's over, man. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with me, Marcus. We'll talk tomorrow, man. I'm hungry. I gotta get something to eat. My man Reggie, Big L, everybody who checked in on the old Facebook situation. Make sure you guys are still checking out One Mic with Big Mike on Twitter. You can still answer the hashtag. Put it on the poll questions. Don't forget, you guys can put it on the poll too. Just hashtag it, put it on the poll, and we'll talk about your poll questions here on the show. Don't know if I'm gonna do a show on Friday. I'll keep you guys posted though, because combine starting on Friday, the running and the jumping and all that, and I like to really get into that kind of stuff. So that might have my attention on Friday. But like I said, I'll keep you guys posted. Don't forget the show is also available, and all my shows are available on demand on Spreaker, Spreaker, the Spreaker app, TuneIn, OneMicWithBigMike.com, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube, the iTunes, like, favorite, share, all those good things, man. And if I don't talk to you guys on Friday, I'll definitely talk to you on Monday, man. Have a good one.